Hi, my name is Shelly, and welcome back to another episode of Just a Girl and Her Healing Podcast. I'm so grateful you're here with me today, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but today's episode is personal. It's deep, it's honest, it's one of those conversations where you might feel your heart shifting while you're listening. So before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment. Just pause. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it out slowly. Begin when you're ready. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. You're safe here. Today we're talking about something we forget so easily, and that's giving yourself grace simply because you didn't give up on you. You know, people look at your strength and think it came easy. They see your smile and assume you're okay. They watch you keep going and don't realize how many nights you've cried yourself to sleep or how many mornings you woke up tired. But you know the private battles, the moments you sat in silence, trying to breathe through memories that still sting. The moments you wanted to scream but held it all together because no one would understand. The moments your heart was breaking but you had to function anyway. And yet, you didn't give up. You kept moving. Maybe slowly, maybe painfully, but you moved. And I want you to hear me clearly. That alone, my love, deserves more grace than you've ever given yourself. You know, there's times when we often applaud survival in others, but we overlook it in ourselves. We are so quick to celebrate other people's strength and ignore our own. But today, I want you to recognize your own fight. I want you to acknowledge your own resilience. I want you to take a moment to honor the version of you that never gave up, even when you felt like you had nothing left. Let's be honest. Healing is not aesthetic. It's not all candles and journaling and positive vibes. Sometimes it's waking up triggered for absolutely no reason. Sometimes it's shaking because your body remembers something you've tried so hard to forget. Sometimes healing is crying because something finally surfaced after years of being buried. Healing is the moment you say, I can't do this anymore, but you still do it anyway. Healing is the moment you're tired of being tired. You know that saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, but you still try again tomorrow. And listen, that's grace. Your healing doesn't have to be perfect, my love. It doesn't have to be consistent either. You really don't have to wake up every day feeling inspired. Sometimes healing is survival. Sometimes healing is rest. Sometimes it's letting yourself fall all the way apart so you can rebuild more honestly. And I know you've had moments where you thought you were failing, but you weren't failing. You, my love, you were transforming. And transformation is absolutely uncomfortable. And you know what? It's supposed to be. But you stayed. You showed up for yourself. And for that, you deserve grace. I want you to sit with these words for a moment and let them land in your soul. Listen, my love, there were things that should have broken you. Yes. There were people who should have destroyed you. Experiences that should have made you bitter, cold, and numb. Losses that should have left you paralyzed. Trauma that should have left you unable to trust anything or anyone. But here's the kicker. You didn't break. You simply bent. You bent under pressure. And there's a difference between breaking and bending. You bent under betrayal. You bent under abandonment, under fear. You bent under the stories that tried to bury you. But you didn't break. And bending is not weakness. No. Bending is what kept you alive. Bending is what kept your heart open. Bending is what got you here today. And the fact that you didn't break is not an accident, my love. It is grace over your life. It is purpose over your story. It is the resilience woven into your spirit. And today, you deserve to honor that. My love, let me take this moment to talk to the version of you that's tired. I want to talk to the version that feels like they're trying so hard. You know, the version that wonders if they're even healing or if they're healing right. Allow me to speak to the version that feels behind because their growth isn't as fast as they hoped. Let me speak life into the version that feels ashamed of repeating patterns. The version that doesn't know how to rest without guilt. Listen to me. You are doing better than you think. Because healing doesn't come with a timeline. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we forget that we can't rush the process. Growth is not linear, my love. Your pace is not a problem. Go as fast or as slow as you need. Your softness is not a flaw. You being sensitive or your sensitivity is not a weakness. You are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to restart as many times as you need. You are allowed to have days where you feel completely lost. You are allowed to take breaks without feeling like you're failing. Let me tell you something about grace and what grace truly means. Grace means leaving room for humanity. Grace means understanding that you are more than your mistakes. Grace means trusting that even when you can't see your progress, God can. And you didn't give up on you. Not even on the days you thought you did. Not even when you whispered, I can't do this anymore. But still you woke up the next morning, right? That, my love, that is grace. Let me bring myself into this for a moment. I want to talk about the personal layer. And this is where I open up and talk about my own journey, just so you know you're not walking this alone. Let me share something real with you. When I look at my own journey, everything I've survived, everything that almost broke me, it still amazes me that I'm here. Because if I'm being honest, there were seasons where I wasn't sure I'd make it through. And that is the absolute truth. You see, growing up with abandonment wounds, feeling the rejection in my body before I could even understand what it meant, and carrying trauma like it was my name. And I'm trying to understand why the people I needed the most chose everything but me. And here I am walking around in fear and pretending I was okay. But you know what? Those experiences, they shaped me. They hardened me, but at the same time, they softened me. They taught me resilience in ways I didn't ask for. But they also taught me this. Grace is the only reason I'm standing here today. Grace met me when I was angry. Grace met me when I was absolutely terrified. Grace met me when I was ashamed. Grace met me when I didn't trust myself. Grace met me when I didn't feel worthy. And if grace could meet me there, guess what? It can meet you there too. Because every time I didn't quit when I was crawling, when I was trembling, when I didn't know what I was doing, that was grace. And the fact that you didn't quit, that is your grace. Now, I want to slow things down for a moment. This part of the episode is something I love to do, and it's the deep, reflective pause. This is where you let your soul respond without forcing. I want you to ask yourself these questions, and you don't have to answer them out loud. Just let them land where they need to. Where have I been too hard on myself? What am I still carrying that I haven't given myself credit for surviving? In what ways have I shown up for myself without realizing it? What part of me is still fighting, still hoping, still trying? Where do I need more grace, more softness, more compassion? And as you answer these questions, my love, I want you to breathe. Let the answers rise gently. Let your heart speak without judgment. Because this is grace. This is healing. This is honoring your journey. Now, I want to talk about what grace really means, and this might shift the way you see yourself. Grace doesn't mean you have everything figured out. Grace doesn't mean you're healed. Grace doesn't mean you don't struggle. Grace means you're learning. It means you're trying. Grace means you're showing up even when it's hard. And when you show up for you over and over again, grace will say, I see you. I love you. You're trying, and that's enough. Take a moment and imagine this. Okay? Imagine if you spoke to yourself the way you speak to people you love. Imagine if you encourage yourself the way you comfort others. Imagine if you gave yourself the same love and compassion you pour into everyone around you. Imagine what that would look like, what that would feel like. My love, as we come towards the end of our time together, I want to leave you with something warm. I would like to leave you with a few words of encouragement, and let these words settle into you as you move throughout your week. I want you to remember something, my love. You didn't give up on you, and that deserves grace. So I want you to give yourself grace for the progress you can't see. Grace for the healing that's happening quietly. Give yourself grace for the nights you held yourself together, for the mornings you tried again. Give yourself grace, my love, for the moments you almost gave up but didn't. You are so worthy of compassion. You are worthy of rest. You are worthy of softness. You are worthy of healing. You are worthy of grace. And if no one has told you lately, I am so proud of you. Deeply, truly, honestly proud. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for choosing healing. Thank you for choosing you. And until next time, my loves, please, I beg, be gentle with yourself. Be patient with your soul. And remember, you deserve grace simply because you're still here. I love you so much and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode.